Hi guys, this is Rihanna, and today I'm going to show you how I do my makeup and how I get ready. So first we're going to start with prep and priming. So I'm going to start with the serum, which has gemstones in it, and it's super beneficial. So I think the three main gemstones within the serum is ruby, diamond, and pearl. And I really like this serum because of the texture. It's serum because it's not as sticky as other serums that I've used, and I have quite sensitive skin, so it's really good for me. I'm just gonna rub it in. Okay, so after that I'm gonna prime my face. I like to use a primer that has a little bit more of a hydrating feel. The serum itself is already very, very hydrating, but this is just to make sure that my makeup stays on and has a bit more of a sheen. The serum does have a bit of a sheen, but because it dries down quite fast, it absorbs into the skin. It kind of just makes my skin feel better, and then my primer makes sure that my makeup stays on. So I just use a little bit of primer. I don't use too much because the serum is enough. So I'm just going to put this all over my face as well. I'm just going to rub that in. I like to press my primers and my serums into my face because it doesn't move product around as much as kind of rubbing it into your face would. So pressing serums and primers into your skin will make them kind of absorb better and stay put. So that's my prep and my prime done. The facial serum feels really, really nice, and it's very hydrating. So next I'm going to do my foundation. I'm going to use the Amethyst Lustre Gemstone foundation. I'm using the shade Medium Stunning. It depends on kind of whether or not I'm tan or not, but usually I'll use a medium shade. So I'm just going to use this foundation and use the foundation stick directly to put it on my face, and then I will blend it out. So. When I put on my foundation, I like to put on small strokes instead of putting it all over or dabbing on, because it kind of uses less product, so it's not as cakey, and you kind of get a better, more natural finish as opposed to like putting loads of foundation on. And then I'm going to use the Miracle Pro Face Applicator to blend it all out. You can use it both dry and wet. I like to wet my sponges before I use them because I feel like it gives a more natural finish. So this is what the sponge looks like dry. It also is super helpful because it comes in a little case that you can travel with, and it's really super convenient. So this is what it looks like dry. I'm going to wet it so that I can blend out my foundation. And this is what it looks like damp. So it's got both a flat edge and it's got kind of like a spherical edge. I like to use the flat edge to blend under my eye and most of my face. So I use the flat side for blending most of my foundation. As you can see, I use very, very little, and I use very small strokes, but it's very full coverage and it doesn't feel heavy. So you can also use the foundations as concealers. I personally don't like to use some concealers because they're very heavy and they kind of crease and they make my skin feel very dry. So I'm going to use the lighter shade as both a contouring and both a highlight and a concealing shade. So this is the lightest shade. I use the medium shade for my base and using the lighter shade to highlight my face. And I'm just going to go back in with the sponge, using the flat side again to blend under my eye. Okay, so the reason I love this foundation so much is because it has a lot of hydrating ingredients like vitamin E and olive oil, while also having the amethyst gemstone to give it that kind of like lustrous kind of feel. So it's hydrating and it's super natural and it's not heavy, which for me is really, really good because I have dry skin. So if you have dry skin, it's really good for you. And it doesn't feel like it's kind of clogging any pores because it doesn't have any comedogenic ingredients. So that's my base done. So I've prepped, I've primed, and I've done my foundation, and I've highlighted, and I've concealed. Then I just like to go back in with like a translucent powder. It can be any powder. And I just kind of lightly brush it all over my face. Some people, if I'm going out for at night and I have like an event on, I put a little bit more powder under my eyes so that it doesn't crease. But for like daily use, I like to just brush on a very light kind of layer of powder as opposed to baking, which I would do at night. So after that, I then like to contour. I don't like to do a super heavy contour during the day because it's just not what I really would go for with a natural look. So I go in for a bit of a lighter bronzer color as opposed to like a deep, dark, like sharp contour. And I just go in lightly. I think the biggest tip with contouring especially is that you need a good foundation in order to like bronze and contour. So if your foundation's not the right color, it tends to look really muddy and just not natural. So I like to just go in with a lighter bronzer and just gently contour my cheeks. I like to start up and then work my way down because that way it's like a natural gradient as opposed to like just like a line. So after that, I then like to go in with blush. Depending what I'm going for, I either use a pink toned or a warm toned blush. Today I'm going to use a warm toned blush. I like using mineral-based makeup, which is also what the facial serum and the foundation has the basis of. They've got gemstones in it. So this is just a warm toned blush that I use pretty much on a daily basis. But mineral-based products, like gemstone-based products, are really good for you if you're not really into the whole powdery look. So it's still kind of, it's not oily and it's not super shiny. So that's my foundation, my contour, and my blush done. I then like to do my eyes. So for my eyes, I like to prime them with a concealer or a foundation. Concealers can be quite heavy, so I'm going to go back in with the lightest shade from the foundation to put on my lids so that I can prep my eyes for eyeshadow. So again, I'm just going to go back and dry sponge when I do my eyes because it doesn't kind of move around as much and it kind of packs on the foundation or the concealer a lot better. So that's the base of my eyes done. I then like to go in with kind of a fluffy, soft blending brush, and usually I go for any kind of like a warm neutral look. So I'm gonna go in with a kind of warmish kind of brown for my base color, which is pretty much my everyday look. Sometimes I'll switch it up if I want to, but for the most part, I mainly just use a brown. Honestly, I'm pretty much just use one color, but sometimes I'll use two if I want to darken my crease or if I want to have a more kind of complicated look. But just for every day, I pretty much just use the same colors and same kind of techniques. So before I do my eyeliner, I usually do my brows first. I have quite thick brows personally. So on days where I'm not feeling like I want to do my brows super thick and super defined, I just use a brow gel in order to just make sure that they're up and they're clean and they're not ashy. So I'm just going to go in with the brow gel and push my brows up. So after I do that, I like to do my eyeliner, then my mascara, and then I just do the finishing touches, and then I'm pretty much done. So I'm just going to do my eyeliner. So I like to use a pen liner. Sometimes I'll use a gel liner, but for my everyday look, I pretty much just use a pen liner because it's easy and it's convenient. And that's the eyeliner done. So And I do mascara. You can use any mascara. I usually just use a volumizing color mascara because my eyeliner is quite thick anyway. So after all that's done, depending on what I want to go for, I'll either, some days I don't highlight, some days I do. Today I'll highlight. So I like to use a fan brush, and sometimes if I don't have any highlighter with me, I'll just use a eyeshadow shade that is shiny and not glittery, but has like a metallic sheen. I don't put a lot of highlight, I just put it on my cheeks just for a little bit of an extra. And then the brown touches that I use on the lipstick, usually I just go for a neutral brown. And then I'm done. So basically that's how I do my everyday makeup, or the base of most of my makeup looks. I really love the prepping and the priming, the foundation, because that is the basis of your entire makeup look. So the serum feels really nice. My skin doesn't feel tacky or sticky or dry or anything. I feel super hydrated and I'm not oily. So that is amazing, especially because it's the base of your look. So yeah, I